Alright, well, I'm back for another video after we finished up our preseason going winless, losing to the Lions 24-17. I mean, not that I give a shit about preseason at all, but there is some shit I want to say in this video, but it's not really going to be about the preseason game. But it's going to be about the franchise's future and why they should tank for the next 2 to 3 years. And well, because look, as I said in that video about 3 weeks ago, going 16 minutes and 40 something seconds, I even said in that video that that we ain't gonna be shit and we're not, and we won't be able to compete for anything worthy. And and I figured if it's gonna be the same old shit as usual, as it's been for years and years, being stuck in 8-win, 9-win, 10-win, no playoff win purgatory, why should we sit through that yet again when we should just simply tank the 2024 season? And I'm fully on board with us doing so. And let me tell you why. Well, for one, Michael Pettaway-Dumlin needs to be fired, as I've been saying. And it doesn't seem like our owners got the balls to do so. He's too woke, too dumb, whatever, to do it. And until we do it, well, like I said, it's gonna be the same old shit as it's been since 2018. And I think, and what's probably gonna take, like if I had to guess on what it's gonna take for Art Rooney II to finally fire Dumlin, it's probably gonna take a 4-win, 5-win season for him to finally wake up and realize that Dumlin has to be fired. Because, like, look, we all know we're not winning a playoff game until Tomlin is gone, much less a Super Bowl. But Dumlin and the word Super Bowl don't even belong in the same sentence or even the same damn paragraph. So I'm thinking 2024 through 2026 need to be about us tanking in hopes of it being bad enough to get Dumlin fired. And of course to hopefully find our next franchise quarterback. And and so on. So like, as we all saw, the 2025 quarterback draft class is really no good. And I'm thinking like 2024 we should tank not to get a franchise quarterback there, but in hopes, mainly in hopes of getting Michael Pettaway-Dumlin fired. Hoping that it finally wakes up our Joe Biden owner, old fart Rooney II. That's what it's in hopes for. So like this year, the only games that we should win are within our division. So I'm thinking like we should probably win 1 game each against our division rivals, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. And maybe steal the Week 5 game against our historic rival in the Dallas Bitch Boys. That's what I'm thinking. And it's like, and then from there, if we can get a top 5, top 3 draft pick, I think the 2025 draft, since we probably ain't gonna find a good enough quarterback, we should probably just go best available whenever on every single one of our picks. and I'm hoping, and then right from there, hoping that is good enough to get Dumlin fired and hire anybody that's at least somewhat better than him. Though I would really prefer a good offensive-minded coach like anybody from the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree to be our head coach. And I think from what I heard, I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but the 2026 QB draft class may be pretty stacked. Now I'm thinking 2025, we should tank for that reason. To get a franchise, just look and see if we can get a franchise quarterback there. And then, you know, in 2026, it depends on whether if we was bad enough to get old fart Rooney II to wake up and fire Dumlin. Cause until he is gone, it don't matter who is on this roster. It's always gonna be 8-win, 9-8, 9-win, 10-win, 10-7, whatever. As long as Dumlin is the coach. And it's pretty funny how in that video about 3 weeks ago, earlier this month, I even said don't fall for the bullshit when it comes to preseason like we've done the past couple of years. And well, it seems as though the Steelers are already in regular season or mid-season form. Because they didn't even launch good old Operation Fool the 80%ers in the fan base with a good preseason because we went winless in the preseason and didn't even have the lead in 2 of them. Which sounds like typical Dumlin football, especially against either 2-10 teams like this Cardinals team that smacked the shit out of us last year in December. As well as, you know, the good to elite upper contending teams. So yeah, I'm standing on the fact that week 1, we getting our ass beat by the Falcons 34-14. I mean, all in all, it's gonna be another rough year for us. And while I do think that we will unfortunately once again bullshit our way to either 9 or 10 wins, in the most ugliest way possible, even more uglier than 2022 and 2023, it would not shock me one bit if we only win like 5 or 6 games. I'm telling you, if there's any time for us for Dumlin to finally have his first losing season, this may actually be the year to do it. Justin Fields and Russell Wilson both suck. Though for as bad as Wilson is, even though he got less reps in the preseason than Justin Fields did, Fields can at least, you know, move the ball even though he gets sacked and fumble a lot. But, you know, considering that we still have that stupid ass, you know, O-line quote unquote experiment going, having Broderick Jones at right tackle when he needs to be at the left tackle. I hate to say it, but because of Dumlin, it seems like Broderick Jones is on his way towards being a bust. Now, granted, it's kind of his fault too, but I'm mainly putting the blame on Dumlin for putting him in the wrong position, putting him in position to fail. And of course, you know, the fact that we ain't even done enough to get Dan Moore's sorry ass off the roster. Because, like, look, anybody who come on here and say that the defense is the reason that we haven't finished below 500, no. The defense may be good, but it's extremely overrated. We got no corners aside from Joey Porter Jr., and even with him, He commit too many penalties and can't tackle worth a damn. Good coverage corner, but he still has the last shit to work on. Our safeties, Minka Fitzpatrick, overrated. Everybody else behind him, meh at best. Okay, we got a good front seven, but even then, they tend to be very inconsistent with stopping the run. And I already covered how bad our receiving core is in the last video earlier this month. Aside from a good but overrated Pickens, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a rough year for us. I think it is. I think it's gonna be the same old boring offense. Defense is gonna get tired, and they're also gonna continue to show at times how overrated they truly are. The only thing that this team got is a good 1-2 punch run attack, which, even with that, as I said in the previous video, usually take till halfway through the year to get going. But let's see. So 6 of our last 8 games after our bye week are division games. Like, honestly, I could see us losing 4 division games this year. I really could. I very well could see it happening. And but like I say, I think we're gonna get blown out by the Falcons of week 1 because it'll be a typical Dumlin game. Let's see. Broncos, Chargers. I think those are toss-ups. Colts. I think they're gonna blow us out just like they did last year. Cowboys. We'll see. And then, I don't know. And I know I said before that most teams in the league are either awful or just mid. But we ourselves are one of those teams. And the problem with us is that, we have a stupid head coach who doesn't show any discipline to the team at all. He can't win challenges. He's one of the worst game prep coaches in the game. And a lot of critics call him a player coach, but I can't even call him that, to be honest. I call him a cheerleader coach. That's what he is. Because Terry Bradshaw said it many years ago. He a cheerleader. After what we saw and how he handled Antonio Brown filming the locker room. And it really is pathetic how a lot of Steelers fans out there still see. They still think that Dumlin is a good coach and deserved his extension. It's like, fuck out of here. He ain't won a playoff game in so many years. 0-5 in his last 5 playoff games. And as I keep beating him up for, losing to a 2-10 team back-to-back games, one of which against my most hated team, the other, this Cardinal team right here. So yeah, we're probably going to be mid yet again, but it would not surprise me if we finish with only 5 wins or maybe 6 wins at best. And I'm hoping we can be just bad enough to get Dumlin fired. That's what I want. I am on board with. I am 100% on board with us tanking. And I'm thinking mid 2020 should be about us tanking, rebuilding, and then late 2020s, early 2030s, somewhere around there. Hopefully, by one of those years, we can be back to being a great Super Bowl contending team again. Because, I'm sick of being built off of stability. I am. Do you guys, do y'all see the 49ers? Now look, they may choke in the championship games. They may choke when it counts the absolute most. But over all these years, you notice that they're usually either really good or really bad. Right now, they're really good. But it's like whenever whenever they're not that good, they usually have one of the worst teams in the league. They usually just tank it all away when they see that they can't, compete for a Super Bowl. That is exactly how this team need to be built. Either we're clearly good enough to compete for a Super Bowl, or it's obvious that we can't, to where we would be lucky to even win a playoff game and say, yeah, we might as well just blow it all up and rebuild. That is how this team has got to be built. No more mid-stability. None of that bullshit, no. Either top 5 worst or top 5 best. No in between. None. Because even if we were somehow good enough to have a good team under Dumlin, and get to the playoffs as a 11-12 win team or win the division or whatever, it would most likely be like a 2020 thing where it was just a fluke, only to go back to being mid, just like the previous couple of seasons before that 2020 season. Because whenever we get back to being good, I want to be good for years to come, right? Like, I don't want it to be like a fluke to where we get back to being mediocre at best. No. I want us to not only be good enough for years to come, but to, at the very least, be among the final 4 in January or February or whatever. Like, I want to be in that range if we're going to be good. Like, and if not, then I'd rather have a season like the Pew Stinkland Deflatriots, hate saying that, or like this Cardinal team here that beat us, or the Redskins did, right? Like, that's how this team needs to be built. The culture and standard has to change within the franchise and within the team in the locker room. It just has to in order for us to be great again. And until that happens, we're going to be stuck in purgatory and will be held back for a very long time. So that's what I think of the overall state of this team. Enough being mid because it's going to get us nowhere. Tank for the next 2 to 3 seasons, and then go through a year or two being a playoff contender, and then build your way back towards being a Super Bowl contender. That's what needs to happen. That's how it's got to be. But with that said, it's pretty much all I've got to say in this video. Not much else, other than the fact that it would not shock me if we have a very rough season, and perhaps have our first losing season in 21 years. Only casuals, dipshits, and hillbillies in this fan base would want another non-losing season. Only they would want that. A real fan like me wants Dumlin fired, and maybe even for the owner to sell the team to an owner who actually gives a fuck about winning. And just embrace the mid-2020s as tank seasons, and then hopefully get back to being a Super Bowl contender by either the late 2020s or the early 2030s. That's what every real Steeler fan should be thinking. But that'll do it for this video. So all I gotta say, fire Dumlin, or else my boycott continues, and I'm out.